Let's get on to our Euro 2024 preview then. That's why we've got you sat here. We'll start with the hosts. Germany won the World Cup 10 years ago. Since then, semis at Euro 2016, group stage at Euro 2018 in the World Cup, round of 16 Euro 2020, group stage here in Qatar most recently in 2022. So what is next?
What is that is that in our mind, Germany is not anymore a favorite, because in 2014, of course, in Brazil, they were outstanding, and after that was a slope slowly down, and they couldn't recover. And Joachim Löw had done a great job, but he couldn't lift the boat anymore after that, and nobody could. But I must say there is still two signs for hope. The first is Germany, and they have a history, a culture of winning. They know how to do that. So the demands inside the population is, of course, very high. Secondly, they play at home, and they have done recently very well against France. And I would say they have gained now, again, a better balance in the team. Nagelsmann has stabilized the ship, and I think they called back Kroos. Kroos, for me, Kroos is in fact German. We spoke about East German, and he never got recognized in Germany, got really the credit he deserves. For me, he's an exceptional football player, and they have now in midfield Kroos, Gundogan, Musiala, and Wirtz and Havertz. So they have a top-level technical quality. If they find a good balance to score the goals, you cannot dismiss Germany.
And your impressions of Julian Nagelsmann, still only 36 years old?
Yeah, you can. Age today, the coaches start younger, especially those who have not played at the top level. You know, they compensate the lack of playing experience by early coaching experience. And I would say he was in a machine of pressure and stress very early, so your body adapts. I started at a very young age as well. At the start, I was, of course, a bit shocked by all this pressure, but slowly you get used to it, and finally, I think he's young, but he's a promising coach and has certainly a great future. And this is for him a great opportunity. His experience at beIN was not completely convincing. I don't believe that it was down to him, but he can solidify his name again in a great competition at home. And there could be a good mixture between him and the players, you know, and together they want a kind of revenge. Because they have a potential to do it.
Let's talk the holders then, and the defending champions Italy didn't make it to Qatar. Did we miss them?
You never rule Italy out, but when you look at their history, four World Cups, they won European Championships, but at the moment I don't think they have the quality to win the competition again. But I would have said that in London as well. So I'm cautious with Italy, because they know how to win. They have a culture of efficiency. For them, football is a job that you have to do, you know, and usually they do the job well. They have now Spalletti, who has created a new impulse, and had a good impact on the team, and slowly they're getting better and better and making better results. I still wouldn't give him as one of the favorites of the competition.
In a tough group along with Spain and Croatia, let's talk Croatia and Luka Modric. Where does he sit in the list of modern greats for you?
For me, Modric is like Kroos. You know, they have. I admire Modric because he has the utmost intelligence of a midfielder. That means every time he touches the ball, you realize that his first touch just went where it should have gone. And everything looks easy for him. And when you see that a player of his stature makes his career, you just think it's good for football. Because he's not a physical monster, but he has huge technique, very intelligent, very dedicated for the game. These guys are 37, Kroos 35, what they have done, and they still behave with the same motivation. They are fantastic examples for young, talented players. And you wish that they never stop to play.
Very special player. But Croatia has a population of less than 4 million. They're number 10 in the world rankings. Of course, final in 2018, semi-finals in 2022. What's the secret behind their success?
First of all, I would say yes, like you say, they were twice in the last 4 in the World Cup by being basically 3.5 to 4 million. It's an exceptional achievement. It is a country who produces top-level basketball players, top-level football players, top-level water polo players. They have a culture of team sport that is exceptional. And I would say on the sea, on the Adriatic, you have there a band of Croatia, Montenegro, Albania, and down Greece, who are top-level football people. Everywhere they have top-level technical quality. And then these countries like Croatia, they have another thing that is very important in education. It's very important that the best play with the best or against the best. And the smaller a country is, the more good players you have on a small surface, the more chances you have to produce good players. But the stimulation is there. And that is one of the advantages of a small country. I have another example, it's in Uruguay. You know, where half of the population lives in Montevideo, but part of a success, apart from the quality and the intelligence of the work, it is to have a big concentration of good players on the small surface, because they play against each other and they lift the level together.
Okay, well, we'll move on to Spain. They impressed in the last Euros, getting to the semi-finals where they were knocked out by Italy on penalties. Potential winners here?
Spain, you know, I said before, in Italy, football is a job that you have to do, and they do it well. In Spain, football is a game where you need always to have the ball, and that is technically perfect. I have a lot of respect for Spain, because I feel, is it in football, in any other collective sport, they play always with intelligence and with desire. They take the responsibility to build the game and to want to play. And I personally believe that I would say the 2 big favorites for me are England and France. Then I would put Germany, because they play at home and they have the quality. And then just a fraction outsider, Spain and Portugal. Because again there you have a top level. But Spain, you can never rule them out if they find the form. Because at the end of the day, it is 3 weeks where you need to be at your top. That means that mentally they are tuned in, that physically you have no tired players and everybody in a good shape, no big injuries, and then have a good start in the competition, and you have a good chance. And Spain has always, I would say, in a different way, we had a similar problem in Doha here than Germany. A lot of the ball and not many goals, you know, because they had not the strikers who could finish their job until inside the box they were top, but inside the box they were not efficient enough.
What about their coach then, Luis de la Fuente? He's managed at underage level for the last decade with the Spanish national team. Is that an underestimated pathway into national coaching?
Yes, it is, because sometimes the advantage of De La Fuente, for example, he knows all the young players, and he knows who can be a great player and bring some new impulse inside the team, because he knows he has played competitions with them, and sometimes that is an advantage, and can grow in the shade of the guy in front, and he sees what happened to him. And when he gets in charge, he knows the younger players, he knows what you have to do. He has the experience of managing in a short period in the most efficient way, so it helps.
Moving on to Belgium, we had that shock group exit here at the World Cup in Qatar. Many said it was the end of an era, the end of that golden generation of players. However, since then, they're 13 games unbeaten. How far will they go at Euro 2024?
I don't know, because Belgium has a defense that has aged, so they have to find again defense. They've lost Eden Hazard, who was with De Bruyne, the carriers of the hopes of the whole country. So I would say they're outsiders behind Portugal, and but they have quality players, and we have now Trossard, who plays at Arsenal, for example, who does an exceptional season. They have good players, but their defense has aged a little bit. They are a little bit behind in my ranking for winning the competitions. But you can never rule them completely out, because they had the quality to win the World Cup.
Is it now or never for England?
It is now or never, no, but it is now. You can never rule out that a team can win in the future. But I think Gareth Southgate has accumulated a lot of experience in the competitions. He knows well the players, Foden, Bellingham. You have as well Saka, who is an exceptional football player. You have Cole Palmer, who for me is a revelation in the English Championship. It's between Foden and Palmer, but I would say Palmer had played in a team who struggled much more and scored more than 20 goals as a midfielder. You have Maddison, you know, you have so. In England at the moment, I would say, they have suddenly you have Grealish, you know, you have so many creative players, and they lack a little bit stability at the back, and they are a little bit maybe too much depending on Kane as a centre forward. But on the creativity side, they're unbelievable. You cannot say that England is not one of the super favourites of this European Championship, but I agree with you, they have to deliver now.
Bellingham, who you've mentioned, has already been talked about as one of the greatest English players of all time, or potentially one of the greatest English players of all time. How do you assess his development? He still isn't 21 yet.
Yes, so overall, Bellingham is a good example, for me, like Haaland, that shows that at a certain age, the progression in the difficulty of a competition is very important. He played at Birmingham, then he went to Dortmund, and then he went to Real Madrid. Of course, it's quick for him, but he had, at some stage, you need to play, and in a competition where you have to show that you can make results and win football games and learn your job. At 23, you know your job inside out. But before that, you need to accumulate experiences that the top talent, to achieve its long-term potential, needs challenges. And this kind of challenges have to come early, but you need always new challenges to achieve your potential. And until now, he has done that well and right. And overall, if you look at his qualities, you say that he could play next to Declan Rice as well, you know. He can play deep in midfield, he can play top, he can play even centre forward for me. Yeah. Because he's kind of guys, you don't know really, they have no limitations. And sometimes it's difficult as well, because around them you need them. and around them you have to create the balance that allows them to express their exceptional talent.
Let's talk about Portugal then. And Cristiano Ronaldo looked down and out at the World Cup here in Qatar. Since then, he's gone on to keep scoring for Portugal at international level. What more does he have to bring to the big stage?
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo was born 1985. That means he's in his 39th year. So, and I know, having played against him when he was 17 in Manchester United, that means 22 years of top-level football as a striker. And that means 40 goals per year minimum every year. So you say, hat off, you know, and can he still, the question, we have lost him a little bit out of sight in Saudi Arabia. Can he still produce it when you know that the physical level is so much demanding now at the top level? That's the question mark. Nobody questions Cristiano Ronaldo, but what we want to see, has he still the physical resources to survive in such a competitive environment?
You haven't put the Netherlands in your category of potential upsets or dark horses here. How strong are they? Because they lost twice to France in qualifiers. Otherwise, they won all their games in the group, conceding just 1 goal in 8. So they're looking strong heading into the tournament.
Look, when I was a kid, the stars in Holland were Cruyff, Niskens, and all these players, Kaiser, and after Rensenbrink, and so it is a country that I have a lot of respect for, because they have strong personality always. They want to play the way they have decided to play. I feel they are, compared to France and England, they're a bit behind on the individual talent at the moment. And but nobody beats Holland easily in Europe, and that's one of the interesting things. You will have 24 teams. In Europe, you have 55 countries. You know, so basically 50% of Europe will be there. But even the countries who do not go there, for example, Norway. We have seen Ryerson last night playing from Norway, playing with Dortmund. We know Ødegaard, we know Haaland. Even these countries, they deserve to go to the Euro, and even them you don't beat them easy. You know, so that's why it will be very interesting, because I take a gamble here to say who is favorite, but I know that I don't know. Basically, because the European Championship is so difficult and the teams are so close to each other that it's very difficult to predict.
You said your top two then are England and France. Why are France the favourites to win this tournament? Because
France has been in 2 finals of the World Cup, and that is never coincidence. Because France has missed the European Championship in England, and because they will want, that's a competition they have not won for a while. They lost the final of the Euro at home against Portugal. For them as well, this generation wants to deliver. It's a bit the Griezmann generation, or for him as well, it might be one of the last competitions at the top level. And Mbappé gets very frustrated because he got out of a Champions League. So, and they have individual talent, you know. When you take the 11 first French players, they play at Real Madrid, at Bayern, at Arsenal, or only in big clubs, and they are regular players in big clubs. That's the best sign. Where do you play? And if you play in there are 10 big clubs, if you play in one of the 10 biggest clubs as a regular player, your national team is favourite.
So much exciting talent in Mbappé, Kolo Muani, Thuram, but it's all spearheaded by 37-year-old Olivier Giroud. How different is today's Giroud to the one you signed at Arsenal 12 years ago?
Well, when I signed him, he was a young, promising player, happy to be tested in England, but he had already what he is today. He was a guy who could take a challenge, could take the pressure, and was convinced that he had the quality to be there. You know, there's a kind of players, they've been rejected from a traditional system, and they had to make it again through the low divisions. When they come up, they're ready for a fight because they have a personality. They have not been selected at a young age. They have first to prove that they can become professional players. And when they come up, good luck, because they are ready, you know, and that's what the consistent attitude of Olivier Giroud. He was, for a while, for nearly 10 years, he had to prove skeptical people that he had the level to play for the French national team. Today, he is a hero in France. And I would say, well done, Olivier. You deserve what you get. And he will certainly today, maybe not start in every game, but he has qualities that are useful when a traditional way doesn't work, you know. When you have crosses, when you have a physical presence on the central defender, when you need intelligence, 1-2 around the box, he will still be a threat for any other team. Nobody likes to play against Olivier Giroud. When he stands in front of the ball, you don't see the ball.
Is his selection example of Didier Deschamps' pragmatism?
Yeah, Didier Deschamps wouldn't hide that. He's a winner, and he's very pragmatic. He will try to get the best out of the team, of the players he has available. And that's basically, in a club, as much in a club, philosophy of your game is important. In a national team, you do not choose the players. You take what you have in your country and you make that's why I told you before it's a quick fix, because you have to make the best with what you have. You cannot go out and buy other players. You take what you get from your country and you have to accommodate them and to get the best out of them. So you need to be pragmatic.
Let's talk about some of your former players who you've worked with who will be featuring in the dugout at this Euro 2024. Silvinho, who's at Albania, you had him at Arsenal 20 years ago. What can you tell us about him?
Well, I bought him at Corinthians and I went to Brazil and I had a friend there who was interested in football as well. And I said, look, I come to look for a left back and I've heard I want to watch a player called Silvinho. Is he good enough? They said to me, 2-3 guys there, no, he's not good. I said, why? He doesn't score enough goals. I said, I look for a left back, not for a goal scorer. And in Brazil, they had such a high idea of such a history of fullbacks who score goals. And so I watched him, I liked him, and I never had any regret about buying him because he was his fantastic personality, great passion, great attitude, huge desire to do well for you. And he had a bad experience in Lyon. You know, I spoke to him after that experience, and to pump him up a little bit and say, look, it's part of a career as well that you go through a bad patch. And now I'm happy that he's in Albania. We spoke about Croatia, you know, Albania is the same, it's 2.7 million people. So, but they're football people. They're on the Adriatic, good sunshine, good technique, and for them it's fantastic. All these young countries, I think they have a huge dedication to do well for their country because it means a lot to them.
And Dragan Stojkovic played under you in Japan, a gifted player, now managing at Serbia.
Yeah, it's Pixie. Pixie, I support Pixie a lot because I met him when he was coming from Europe to Japan at the start. When I took him, I made a big challenge to him, you know, to come back. He became the best player in Japan because he was an exceptional football player. And we kept in touch after that. He came many times to Arsenal training ground. He took over at Nagoya, and then he went to work in China. And now, I believe he had a very disappointing World Cup in Doha. For him, he got another opportunity. Serbia has good players. And there's another opportunity here to go to Germany and be successful. What I wish, because he's a football man, you know, obsessed with the game, and he's a very intelligent boy as well. So I'm convinced that he didn't digest well what happened here in Doha, and will show that he's a great coach. What I believe is right.
England first to redeem himself, so could be interesting. Let's get some predictions for you then. We'll start with your dark horses of the tournament.
I don't know, you would say Albania could be a dark horse, you know, because they have quality, and so they could be one, and Italy as well. And maybe two other ones who could really create surprises are Scotland, because Scotland has never been as good as they are at the moment, and Austria. And maybe Hungary, you know, they have shown as well in the European Championship that it can be a handful. So these are could be the dark horses.
Interesting. And your tournament winner?
The tournament winner? I think it will be France or England. And I said at the World Cup already that France, England could be a final before the final. I underestimated Argentina, because what Argentina did was absolutely fantastic. They had the best support, and what they did was unbelievable. Messi delivered. But France has now a good balance in the team, and I think for me, England and France are the two favourites. But we can always have surprises. Absolutely,
we've learnt that over the years. Arsene, thank you ever so much for your insight and knowledge. I feel ready for the Euros to be upon us now, fully prepared, fully up to speed with all these teams. Thank you as always for chatting to us on beIN Sports.
Thank you very much.